This happened to me and my cousin just outside Boone, North Carolina, a few years back. We were doing a weekend survival thing, and all we had was one rucksack each, a tarp, some other basic gear, and enough rice and oats to last 2 days. And we didn't bring a tent or phones because my cousin wanted to practice isolation and bushcraft, while I just wanted to unplug for a bit and get out of town. When we arrived at the spot, we parked off an old logging road on private land that my cousin's boss gave us access to, said we could go as deep as we wanted, as long as we stayed clear of the southern boundary and don't cross the creek that runs through the bottom of the valley. Because the family that owns the land past that side doesn't like visitors, we didn't think much of it. Just sounded like typical country property lines. We hiked in about 2 hours, picked a spot just shy of the tree line where the ground flattened out. Good cover, quiet, no wind tunnels. And that first night we kept the fire small and stayed light on food. Around 1 a.m, Marcus nudged me and asked if I heard someone walking nearby. I hadn't, but I sat up and listened anyway. I didn't hear steps, but I did hear what sounded like 2 rocks tapping together, spaced out, about 5 or 6 seconds between each one. Not close, but not far enough to ignore either. I figured it was nothing. Could have been branches falling, something shifting downhill. Didn't seem like a big deal at the time. Next morning we go looking for the creek, just to fill bottles and check the edge of the property line, and only took maybe 20 minutes to reach it. Wasn't wide, 10 feet across at most, but it looked like it went on forever in both directions, and the trees on the far side were dense, thicker than anywhere else we'd passed through, and right across from where we stood. There was this old wooden post stuck in the ground with a rope wrapped around it, and 3 tin cans hanging from it like a wind chime, but none of them moved, because there was no wind. Marcus said something about that being an old hunter's trick, maybe to scare animals off, maybe to signal something. I didn't like it. Told him we had what we needed, let's fill up and get back up the ridge. When we got back to camp, one of our tarps had been moved, not blown around, properly lifted, dragged about a meter to the left, then dropped again. There was a line in the dirt where it had been dragged, not messy, just one clean mark, like it had been pulled slow. We both stopped talking at that point. Neither of us said it, but we were thinking the same thing. Someone had been at our camp. While we were down at the creek, someone had been up here, watching or waiting, or just trying to see how close they could get. Marcus wanted to pack up and hike back out, but I said we're at least staying long enough to track whoever came through. Not to catch them, just to know what direction they'd come from. We started scanning around the clearing, and about 15 meters into the brush we found prints. Bare feet, no shoes, deep heel marks, big stride. Someone had walked up from the downhill slope, crossed the edge of our camp, and gone right back down. No branching path, no weave, just a straight line. That night we didn't light a fire. We sat in the dark with our knives in our laps and waited, not talking, just listening. Every so often we'd hear leaves crunching like someone moving through the dark slowly. At one point I heard breathing, not from Marcus but behind us. Short, sharp breaths, like someone trying not to be heard. I turned my head and didn't see anything. We were feeling really paranoid at this point and didn't sleep the rest of the night. And around dawn, we both agreed we were done. Gear was rolled and packed in under 5 minutes, and we started heading back toward the trailhead. But not even 10 minutes into the hike, Marcus stops and tells me not to move. I look where he's pointing and see a figure standing at the top of the next hill, shirtless, hair down to his shoulders, arms just hanging at his sides, looking straight at us, and he didn't move for about 30 seconds or so while we were locked in a standoff hoping he didn't come charging at us. And it felt like forever before he slowly stood up again and took off running into the brush. We changed course and didn't follow the trail after that. Just started cutting west, bushwhacking hard through dry bushes and thorns, bleeding from our arms and legs by the time we saw the road again. And when we got back to the truck, someone had scratched something into the back panel. It wasn't words, just a circle with a line through it and an X on top. And what was even creepier was it was fresh with mud still in the grooves. I honestly don't know who they were or how long they'd been out there, but we never heard a voice, never saw a light, and never saw more than one of them at a time. But they knew how to move, how to watch, and how to stay just close enough to let us know we weren't welcome. We didn't go back to that spot ever again, and we still haven't said a word to Marcus's boss about what we saw. And low-key, it's because I don't think we were ever supposed to make it out of there.